Hey guys, welcome to Cartoon Chat, episode 18. I'm Brian Swan, joined alongside
Dante with the H.
Find him at Twilight. Drago, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it
That's
was
one of, if not the best cartoon crossover today.
we did it was cool having you with the Ben 10 Generator Rex crossover, but after watching this one, there's just a stark difference between the way that the Grim Adventures and Kids Next Door handled it and the way that the Ben 10 Rex crossover handled it. You know?
Oh yeah, this was perfect. It hit on all cylinders.
Exactly. That's the thing about this sort of crossover was with Ben 10 and Generator Rex, you had these two characters that, again, were very similar, and I don't want to get too far into it. They were very similar, and on top of that, Ben 10 had a lot more development in the negative, the villain was not strong at all.
No, that villain Ben could have handled in like his average episode. That wouldn't have even been the main villain. It would have just been like a side villain.
Exactly. And then, but you look at this, and I think that the only crossover that comes even close to this is the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour. And what those two have in similarity is that they have two characters that are very, very different to each other. Like the universe of Billy and Mandy is vastly different to that of the Kids Next Door, you know?
Oh yeah, of course. Like Billy and Mandy, like just random stuff happens. Like anything can happen basically in Billy and Mandy, and it's all basically focused around anybody. It's basically anybody can do whatever they want. But in the universe of KND, you know when something bad happens, it has to deal with the adults. Like just period. The adults just do anything.
The adults do anything. The what's that? What is the name? Dang it! The Delightful Children are the other ones.
Oh yeah, from down the lane.
Yeah, I for this crossover is filled with a massive amount of references. It was hilarious. Like the first 5 minutes, you go and he's like, the pants rip, and we can go through the story beats, where it's like, he like Billy's dad lets him stay at the house by himself, asks him.
Yeah, he's practically the man of the house.
Just do one thing. Don't screw with the pants. That is it. You have one job, Billy. And of course, he does not do that. That like the one singular job.
Doesn't do the one job, puts the pants on and accidentally falls into Grimm's scythe, which gets stuck in his ass practically.
Pretty much.
With the pants on. And he's like, I only know one people who could deal with this.
There's only one group of kids who can help me now.
Hello! Ed and Eddie's Pesky Problem Fixers. Got a problem that's pesky? We'll fix her for just one lousy quarter. What do you mean you're broke? Hey, if you're looking for charity, call Kids Next Door. They're cheap.
And like, this joke made me laugh so fucking hard, actually.
Yeah.
You just see Ed and Eddie with their crime-solving thing. And he's like, yeah, we can solve any problem for just a quarter.
Just a quarter.
What? You don't have any money. Call the Kids Next Door.
Yeah. If you're looking for charity, go to Kids Next Door. Yeah, that was it was they had done that that Cartoon Network Invaded crossover a couple, I think, years prior or a year ago or before that.
Yeah.
And so like they had their universes sort of come together in that before, but this was just funny because it's like he's just calling up the phone as if the universes are just like merged together, like it's normal.
Yeah, everybody's a phone call away.
Yeah. But I also think, of course, once we get that, then we get the title sequence. I thought that was really cool because, of course, it starts off Grim Adventures. It fades into Kids Next Door. That was an awesome title sequence. They did a good job with that.
They did what Ben versus Rex should have done.
Yeah, that was a very simplified intro. I remember I watched that. I'm like, that really? You guys couldn't do anything more than just like you just showed your two characters and then just said Heroes United and
title card.
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay. Yeah, good job, guys. You really. Yeah, but
10 out of 10 IGN.
10 out of 10. Yeah, but of course, once we get back to the episode after the title sequence, Billy opens the door, and the kids next door are in their tone. Their tone is serious. They take themselves seriously. They walk in. They are dead set on what is going on. And like this is the first time where I think the first time, if I'm not mistaken, where like we're not seeing the mission from their perspective. We're seeing it from the victim's perspective, them going in and like what's going on, you know, like
yeah, like I feel like this is actually the first time something like that happened. Because usually when a problem happens, the kids next door get the call and they're like, well, we off to action. And you're gonna see it from our perspective. But this entire episode is basically from like Billy and or the victim's perspective of what happened because of Billy.
Yep. And then he drags them into his problems essentially, and that just snowballs into more chaos over time. Yeah. So of course, number one has this brilliant idea because like he hears about the whole plan, and like he, you know, like in their world they can do anything. That in number one is the smartest person ever. So in his mind, he will just be a doppelganger for Billy.
Yeah.
No one will notice, and the world will go on as if nothing were to happen. And the rest of the KND will go and take Billy to the undersea lab, the undersea headquarters, or the I'm trying to think of the actual what number was it? 3, I think said.
Yeah.
I'm trying to recall what he said, but one of the locations to get it fixed. And you know, they go, and within like 2 seconds, Mandy comes in, and he's like,
"Oh,
I'll get it! Hello?
Who are you?
I'm Billy!
No, you're not. What have you done with him?
I can play this. I can play this. Nobody's got Mandy within a second's like, no.
You're not Billy. Where's Billy? Oh shit.
It's like she was a force that could not have been ever like that. That was the most brilliant way to take Mandy in a character. Like just start from the beginning. Mandy comes in. She just knows. She's just like, no, this is bull. Like I love that was so hilarious.
Like when Mandy just comes in and then she like approaches number one and she's like, I know you're not Billy. Where's Billy? Tell me what's going on. I'm not telling you anything. See, I'll torture you. I won't give in the torture. Moments later, she got him tied up.
Yep.
On the chair, watching Fredburger. You know?
Oh my yeah. Dude, that Fredburger thing was like, oh my god. Yeah.
My name is Fredburger. I'm on TV, and sometimes I like TV shows that have monkeys. No! Yes! Sometimes I like TV shows that have monkeys that go to camp, and sometimes I like TV shows that have imaginary friends instead of monkeys, but sometimes I just like imaginary monkeys.
No more! Please make him stop!
Then
yeah. You want to degrade number one? Show him that. I'm sure that literally would have that was believable. Like,
oh yeah, big time. And then the amount of references Fredburger shot off per second, like from shows in general. He shot them off.
It was My Gym Partner's Monkey. It had Camp Lazlo. Had Foster's. It was like, what? You're just gonna keep rambling these? Just toss these out like giveaways.
It was perfect.
Yeah. I think during that same time, of course, they're going to the moon base. The rest of the KND, they go to the moon base, and Billy, being Billy as he has been for the entire series and for the episode, is literally destroying this vehicle. And one thing I forgot about was how like inventive Kids Next Door is. Like they just put things together in terms of like invention wise that kids would think of. And like I remember having that like imagination as a kid, like, oh, if I could put this together, then this would make sense, and then this comes together here. And like that was like, you look at their ships, you look at like all their weapons, everything was just like
random things.
Yeah. And I forgot how awesome Kids Next Door was at making this world believable, making this world of invention and just imagination just believable at any level. And they take themselves
amazing.
Yeah, and it's all about how they take themselves so seriously, and it wouldn't have worked any other way if they didn't.
Yeah, because Billy and Mandy come in with the joking, not so serious aspect, but it gets perfectly combined with the seriousness of the kids next door and how well they take themselves so seriously. And Billy will just fire off with the jokes here and there, and it just works fucking perfectly. But
Right.
I would also like to say, like, since number 4 is so fucking stupid and they treat him so stupidly, him and Billy have like some good on moments together on screen to where as though it's so fucking stupid, it would have been perfect.
You said you said you wanted them to do that?
Yeah, I wanted them to have like him and Billy on screen for more time than they were, because I'm not gonna lie, when they were on screen together, it was fucking hilarious. But
yeah, that definitely would have been cool. I found that what they were probably trying to go with was Kids Next Door is serious, and usually, what is it? Usually usually number 4 is the comic relief.
oh yeah,
But they had to tone it down because Billy and Grimm and Mandy and all the characters in that universe were the comic relief for that episode. You know, yeah, and then like nothing is more particularly like nothing shows that more than when like so Mandy knows about it. She knows about the Kids Next Door. She goes, takes number 1's glasses, and then like as number 1 is about to escape, Grimm is like angry, but he's chill. Like, where's my scythe? Like,
Billy, where's me scythe? I'm like, yo, oh my god.
like he couldn't get out of there. He was
it was no escape. And the part that made it so funny was when like Billy shows up and fucks up the Kids Next Door's plan, and like he just fuses with the scythe, and, and number 1 escapes, and Grimm's like, it's so delightful. He's like, something fused with my scythe, and it's delightful.
Yeah. It's so like I can feel like, what are you, Obi-Wan Kenobi, dude? Like you felt the millions of people on Alderaan. Like I didn't know you had that power, but it makes sense. It's just like usually with Billy and with the Grimm Adventures, Grimm is so laid back. It's like you don't realize how much how like even in like the, and we'll get to this later with all of the assimilation stuff. If you saw that in live action, that's like some Rapture level shit. But it's not. It's not in this universe at all. It looks all fun, but it's dead. Like these people were getting killed by the scythe. Death was literally swiping them up. Like I was just like, oh my god, this is like only in Kids Next Door would this look fun and action heavy, but not serious.
Yeah, they carry that tone so well, and it's perfect.
Right. So, what is it? We get to, here we go. So they get to the Delightful Children's Mansion. They got called away from the undersea base because Billy destroyed the transmission area to tell them about Billy. So they have to go over to the Delightful Children. Billy merges with the Delightful Children. Somehow gets like, he was supposed to wait outside. Of course, like an idiot, gets into the mansion.
And has to go to the bathroom. Somehow, like, knocks into whatever invention the
Delightful Children were trying to make, and then merges with every one of the Delightful Children. And that's how we start this whole assimilation sort of beast. So, you know.
It was perfect.
Yeah. Of course, then number 2 gets hit, and with that, the rest of the KND like literally like run back to the moon base, like the actual headquarters. They're wondering about number 1. This should have been done like, what's up?
And saying then Mandy shows up.
And then like Mandy shows up, and the only person that knows who Mandy is number 5. It's like I get it. They were trying to connect the same thing back and forth. It was just like, okay, all right, I'll accept this because everyone else didn't get number 1 in that universe.
Yeah,
I'll accept it. Like Mandy and number 1, it makes sense. All right, cool. And of course, like Mandy, you know, she plays at this like, okay, well, I'm number 1, and she's insane. Like, and it's because of the adults, and she uses the fact that she can just claim that it's because of the adults to then take control of the KND. She's like, all right, I gotta tell you guys about this mission. This is really important stuff, but I have to have control. and like she literally just goes control heavy and control insane on this.
It's actually exactly how you think Mandy would act in this situation.
Exactly.
She's literally smarter than all of them.
Right.
She's so evil that whenever somebody would try to figure out it's her, she just locked them away and say they're crazy.
Right. It's like, what I found was that her idea was similar to that of Killmonger and Black Panther. I was looking like, oh my gosh, I just watched this. She's like, it's funny because in the Kids Next Door universe, you never really think of, they never are trying to dominate the world. It's like they're kids in a universe with adults, and that's about it.
They're just trying to protect the kids.
And they're just trying to protect the kids, and that's all. They never were trying to destroy they're never trying to take over the world. But when you think about it in Mandy's perspective, and you think about it from the reality of how big their force is, like, hell yeah, they could take over like the world. They could do that. And so Mandy's like, you guys are just sitting on this stuff. What if we just
why not use it?
Yeah. And that makes sense from a like Mandy perspective, who's control heavy. So, or control freakish. So, mad with power. Number one, and that she's telling all that to number one, who has arrived with Grimm, who still thinks number one is Billy.
Yes. Oh my God. Even the tomato was gone by then. Like, come on, man.
You're right. And then like I think what was it? You have number one and Grimm. They get sent to prison. And at the same time, that the Reaper Beast creature, I don't know what to call it.
It's going around slaughtering people.
It's literally slaughtering hundreds of people and just growing in size like an antichrist. Like, again, this shit would have been like a horror movie in any other condition, but it's in the Kids Next Door universe, so it's not.
Yeah, you got the cool effects. You got it being look like it's cool. And then you got Billy delivering the comedy.
Right.
Like when they roll up to Erwin's party, and Erwin's like, Billy, you made it. They're like, we're going to exterminate you all. Billy's like, wait, can we have cake first? And they just sit there for a second.
Dude, you're late for the party, yo.
You shall assimilate! Wait! Can't we have some cake before we assimilate? No!
It was interesting to see this thing like turn into what it did, because of course you have these two evil forces. You have like, at that point you're like, all right, you're going along for the ride, because like it's just a fun storyline,
Yeah.
But you're seeing like Mandy's got control of the Kids Next Door. Like she's even gone so far as to have like the numbers preempted by Mandy. So it's like Mandy number 3, Mandy number, like that's how I'm saying she is.
You can change the name of the Kids Next Door to Mandy's damn it. I had the name of it in my head. I just forgot it. Mandy New Dictator or something.
Mandy New Dictator.
MND.
That was it. Yep. MND. Yep. Not to be confused with M&F, Monday Night Football. But I don't laugh at that. That was awful. But so you have that. You have Mandy controlling the Kids Next Door. You have this Antichrist level like Reaper destroying Earth, and then the heroes of the entire mission are stuck in prison.
Yeah. So
I like the fact that you have Mandy, and she's like, all right, I'm going to take care of this on my own. And you have number 5. Number 5 gets number 1 and Grimm out. I mean, what's funny is Grimm thought number 1 was Billy, and number 1 thought that Grimm was a Halloween costume. Was in a Halloween costume. So all right. So what I found about Grimm throughout the episode, up to that point where they get broken out of prison, out of their prison cell, is Grimm is pretty much chill through the entire time. Like he's just like, he almost seems like an underutilized character, but he's that way throughout the entire series. But at the same time, like you see him like he's like, all right, you can use the bone of barnacles or whatever it's called.
It's the bone of barnacles.
It's like, and you see this thing where like he hands it. He has one hand on the bone, and then number 1 goes out to reach for it, and it literally like wraps around number one, like it's like almost like a horror movie.
Show.
Just get on with it.
If you say so. Oh, I forgot to mention, this might hurt a bit.
It is literally like the power of Grimm, the power of the Reaper, like just taking over number one. That's like, maybe I'm looking too far into it, but it's like that was, again, one of those things that would have been incredibly creepy if it wasn't animated in such a fun way. So...
Yeah. Oh no, like that's just still scary regardless. You got a barnacle-ridden bone like just engulfing your body and shit.
Yeah. You know, it's just like these many points when it's like, all right, this is weird, but it's cool because it's kids next door. But even then, it's a little creepy. But you know, we get back to Earth, and you know,
they're basically complete by now. Like,
what's
the
up?
delightful children have fused with almost every kid in the surrounding area, and it looks like Grimm. Like all the faces together look like Grimm. Yeah,
it looks like Grimm. It's massive, it's tall, and then we see Mandy arrive with what is called the manned robot. And then I love I forgot that the acronyms were, I forgot how big the acronyms were in like this was a refresher of Kids Next Door for me.
Mandy, new dictator, manned robot. Monkeys and nice doggies relax on bellies of turtles.
What kind of acronym is that? Well, if you weren't in such a rush, maybe I could have come up with a better one.
Like, I remember how funny those acronyms used to be. Like when you watch like new episodes or just random episodes, and they just have these random acronyms. This one, it was monkeys and nice doggies relax on bellies of turtles.
Oh my fucking god!
Manned robot. That one, I'm like, why?
Yeah, Mandy's sitting there like, yo, like, what is this? Number 3 is like, look, if we would have had more time, I could have came up with a better one, but we didn't. So,
yeah, and it's like they just, that's what they go with, and it's like I love that they have that level of creation, even down to the acronyms. You know,
amazing.
Of course, they didn't do this in this episode, but in every Kids Next Door episode, there's the title sequence, and then there's the mission thing. You know, where they go through the acronym of the episode. So, yeah, it's just cool that they kept with the acronyms. They kept with the acronyms of the machines, and of course, Mandy's fighting this Reaper, this Antichrist.
And not only is she fighting it, she's losing, which was like a big surprise. Like, yeah, because she wasn't winning.
Yeah, like you'd think that with the power of Kids Next Door, they would. What ended up happening was she wanted some lasers, but the lasers are actually that they were back at the moon base that they weren't attached for some, you know, and so she has mustard lasers or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, you're not gonna win this. So she realizes that, and just, you know, lets herself get taken over by this by the Reaper form creature thing.
So she can basically control it.
Yeah, exactly. Because she is so power driven that she doesn't even care what side it's. She doesn't even care that she literally took control of this entire organization like 5 minutes ago. She's now looking for more power, and the power is in that thing. And so now she's like in that weird creature thing.
Like, hold on, we forgot to talk about the pants. Like, the pants is what literally made this thing how strong it is, considering that it's immune to a lot of retarded stuff, like, you know, magic and weirdly mustard.
Yep, these are my lucky pants, all right. I wore these babies the night I got engaged to Gladys.
You call that lucky?
Heck no. They're lucky because they're immune to lasers, supernatural energies, and mustard.
That's right. Yeah, that's like, I don't know. Yeah, it's like, why is, I remember that one scene where like, why isn't it working? And it's like, oh, it doesn't work with this. It's like, what?
He was like, these are my lucky pants. I met my wife in these pants. He was like, that's lucky? No, that's not why they're lucky. They're immune to dark magic and mustard.
Immune to dark freaking like, what? I love how, again, like you said before, how random the Grimm Adventures are. It's just like, it just happens, and they just tell you it, and that's how it goes. They tell you it like 5 minutes before the episode ends, and it's just like, all right, that's how you defeat the pants. You gotta get pants. And what happened?
Take the pants off, and out of nowhere comes Billy's dad and
Yeah.
the unitard.
It's just like, what? Again, the randomness of the Grim Adventures. The Reaper thing gets pantsed. Grimmin #1 slash at it, and it destroys it.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. In their attacks that Grim and them had, like, the poses that they took with it was so hilarious.
Super Skeleton Sword Strike!
I guess it works.
Yep, I guess, yep.
It just works.
What was it? Grim in #1, and the rest of the KND are back at the moon base.
Yeah, and they're basically trying to arrest Mandy.
Yeah, Mandy's under arrest. And then she lands a Scooby-Doo reference by saying she would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Amazing.
Yeah. Another reference. These guys are packing like references like Lunchables. And then you have like within 5 seconds, you have Mandy fly away. Like, no, you're not capturing me. Like, no.
No, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Must not know who I am.
Exactly. And she's like, you're not gonna get away with this, and I'll be back. And it wasn't like one of those like Ben 10 Rex things where it's like, I'm sure we'll meet again. Like, it's like, no, it was one of those like, yeah, this was resolved. It doesn't need to happen again because we saw the maximum carnage of the storyline in this episode. You know, like everything that could have happened was maxed out.
Facts.
Yeah,
like, it was perfect.
Yep. And then everyone knows it's #1. I think where's #1? No, Billy tries to be #1. Tries to be #1, and he gets himself beaten senseless.
Oh yeah, they beat the hell out of Billy. And like #1 gets taken away by Billy's dad because for some reason he still thinks he's Billy.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's what. Yep. Billy's dad's like, yep, you're coming away. Yep, #1. Like, dude, really?
I'm not Billy.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there like, so where's Billy? And #1 just pops up. Like, where's #1? Billy pops up as #1. And like even Grim throws his cipher at him, like, which came out of nowhere. Like you just see all this random stuff get thrown at him, like mustard, hot dogs, and out of nowhere you see Grim's cipher just slap him in the head.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like, damn. Yep. Everyone's tired of Billy because it started with his pants, and it's like, dude, your mission almost destroyed the kids next door. No.
And the world.
Yeah, literally almost destroyed the world. If not for his dad pantsing this creature, yeah, it wouldn't exist. So, yeah. That dude was gonna
Billy is the bane of a lot of people's existence. My fault for cutting you off. But no, Billy is the bane of a lot of people's existence in that episode.
Yeah, his ripple effect literally affected the whole world. Like, literally affected everyone. But like, this crossover, man.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
It is the best of. It's literally the best of both worlds because they wrote the characters in a way that every single one of them was utilized, and they wrote it in a way in which didn't underscore the potential of either one of them. Like we saw, like, you've seen the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, where it's like that's another one where it's like you see the writing for both of them. It's like all the characters are utilized. They take the best of both worlds. They make it very fun and enjoyable for viewers of both franchises to love, and that's how you get a good crossover to work. You know.
Yeah, if they are able to fix each other's faults in a way that makes the show just perfect and it just blends perfectly together, you have a good crossover. That is where Ben and Rex failed because Ben already had all this momentum in his favor and Rex didn't really have any.
Exactly.
He was new.
Yeah, there was this massive flaw with I think the massive flaw with Ben 10 is the Ben 10 Rex crossover is the fact that they tried to establish this world and they tried to establish the storyline that would have taken 2 hours to complete, and it didn't feel wholesome. Like I remember watching it like last week, where it's like it felt like an unfinished and rushed story. Whereas this, which was half an hour shorter, by the way, this Billy and Mandy crossover, it was half an hour shorter, yet it felt way more complete.
Go ahead, you listening?
Oh no, no! I said that the Billy and Mandy and KND crossover, which was half the time, had even more feeling of completion. Had a much better feeling of completion by its ending runtime than the hour-long Ben 10 Rex crossover. You know?
Oh yeah, like that was like this crossover was literally like 30 minutes, probably 32.
No, it was fit for 30. It was fit for 30 minutes, and that's plus commercial, so it was only like 24 minutes long.
Oh yeah, it was perfect. It was the perfect time. It got whatever it needed to be done. It just did it. Well, exactly. It had half the runtime of something that was half as good.
Right. That's again where these two shows, and I think Cartoon Network at the time had a really good connection with all of their cartoons, where it's like you had.
Oh my god! Go ahead.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying Cartoon Chat, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to either my or Twilight Drago's channels, and tell me in the thoughts in your comments what your thoughts are on the Grim Adventures of Kids Next Door, on other crossovers you'd like us to work on, and things of that nature. Again, thanks for watching. We'll be back after these short messages.
Yeah. Oh my god. That was fucking perfect.
Yeah, you gotta have fun with it. You gotta have fun. But yeah, you set?
Yeah, back to it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So what Cartoon Network had at the time, I think, with their cartoons, was a world that could easily be crossed over with, because all of their characters had been around for quite a long time. Not only that, but all of them had a sense of like you could have like the same crossover. It worked very well because like when you had the reference to Ed, Edd n Eddy, that crossover could have happened too. The same could have happened with Camp Lazlo. The same could have happened with dozens of other shows. Yeah, like any like that era of cartoons, like were something about that era where it's like the animation style wasn't far off from each other. It wasn't so far off from each other that it made it impossible to do a crossover. And even if they did, it worked fluidly. Like we saw with the Kids Next Door universe, the animation for Billy and Mandy and Grimm fit perfectly, even though they have literally no. It shouldn't even fit, but it does.
Yeah, it just like you never expect these shows to cross over. And I'd actually expect the crossover with Ed, Edd n Eddy before I expected that one.
Right, because of the goofiness of Billy and the potential. Yeah, like there's just some potential storylines that any of those cartoons could have gone with to have a crossover.
And I would have loved Mandy to beat up Sarah. Oh my god, that would have been so fulfilling to my childhood.
Man, yeah. That was the show, man. Ed, Edd n Eddy was the show.
It was amazing. Like, that's actually minus Courage, because Courage is my #1 top kids show. No kids show that I watched while I was a kid, to me, was better than Courage. But Ed, Edd n Eddy was that close second.
Yeah, could you imagine a crossover with like? I would love to see a serious Kids Next Door arrive in Courage's land. You know,
my goodness!
They land in the middle of nowhere, and then like you have Eustace and you have Muriel trying to like tell them like, no, we didn't send you, and it's like Courage like barking, but of course he's like, yep, like and he's trying to talk to him, but he can't, and like all this mysterious stuff starts going on. Like that would be a really funny, like really fascinating episode. I would have loved like all of them, like the era of cartoons, the era of like pre-2007 Cartoon Network just had the potential for a lot of crossovers because the cartoons were just very fluid on their own and very unique on their own.
Yeah, they could pull their own weight and not have to really rely on anybody else.
Exactly. And like you said, and like especially like we were talking about with Ed, Edd n Eddy, where that show was the icon, I think, for the decade that it lasted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you look at like not to get too far away from it, you look at I think there easily could have been crossover potential with regular show and Adventure Time. There is a comic now that does have a crossover of that, but you have the animation styles of regular show and Adventure Time. You have that. It's you could have done a crossover.
Could have done something with that. When it was first announced, I was like, oh yeah, so we're gonna get a TV show. That's gonna be amazing. And then shortly after, I hit news that it's gonna be a comic. Don't get me wrong. If it's a comic, that's fine. But y'all could have had way more money if it was a TV show. If it was an episode, it could have even been a two-part. Because I think the comic is a two-parter. Or was it one? I think it was a two-parter. But it could have been a two-part episode. And it would have been fine.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the difference is between a comic book crossover, especially when you look at a show when you look at something that was adapted from a show. I think there's a grand difference because you look at the fact that Adventure Time and regular show are icons because they started out on television. And I think everyone would like to see the voices of those characters. They want to hear the voices of the characters. They want to see the interactions in an animated format. And that's the difference between comic book and animated.
TV show. Yeah.
It's there's way more potential to see just goofy stuff happening, whereas in the pages, they're fun, but it just isn't exactly the same. Of course, you could go the same direction with Gumball would have been a very interesting world, and it still can because Gumball is still around. You can easily do a crossover with that because their animation style is not consistent. They have a bunch of different animation styles. You have that robot that is 3D. I believe it looks like it's 3D rendered, and then you have Gumball Flash animated. So you have these potential crossover directions, but they just don't go down that route.
They don't realize that people don't really want shows that only sell toys. They want shows that they can sit back and watch. This isn't about making toys. Don't name yourself Cartoon Network if you're only worried about making toy profits. Cough, cough. Teen Titans Go.
Titan.
Yeah, that too. Make shows that you want people to enjoy that you know could actually make money. Like Gumball. Like your Courage in the past, because just make cartoons. This is something that, going off topic a little bit, that Disney is starting to pick up with shows like Star versus the Forces of Evil. They're pulling that from XD to Disney Channel because they realized, well, people want to see this. This is bringing in money, so we should pull it to our main channel instead of XD because XD is where shows go to die.
Exactly. Yeah. There's an issue. Also, there's the issue that Disney XD is Disney XD has lower ratings than Nicktoons Network.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell that happened, but people just don't watch cable anymore. I mean that channel is I don't have it on my cable package because it's the premium cable package. It's one of those things where it's above, it's in the top tier sort of things, and it's that is one of the greatest lineups of animation that we've had for a long time. Cartoon Network does not have that level of diversity of action, comedy, adventure. They don't have that level of diversity as Disney XD does today.
No, not at all. Not even in the slightest.
And they have and the anime. I'm sorry not to cut you off, but they also have the anime content that Cartoon Network barely aired.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. They moved their stuff over. They're all right, we're going to go Disney XD. Let's see how this turns out. And, people just don't really watch that stuff. It's weird.
Because Cartoon Network drops a lot of shit to the point where it's do y'all want to make money off of something that's not Teen Titans Go? Because Jesus Christ, that show gives me aneurysms.
Yeah, what's great is now they're starting to actually, their schedule is more diverse. From what I've seen, you have you have about 5 or 6 shows a day now, which way better than 1 or 2 shows. They have a Fridays block now, a Friday night block.
Seriously?
It's almost like Fridays, but it's called new.
Oh God!
Why is it called new? Why they went with that name and not Fridays? I really don't know.
I'm assuming it's because it's back-to-back new shows, but that's stupid.
Still, it was called Cartoon Fridays, but they didn't had new premieres, but it wasn't like called New Cartoon Friday. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
even like Har Thursdays. You remember that?
That was amazing.
Like Cartoon Planet, like all like you don't call it new because it's like no shit.
It's new.
Yeah, we know. What are we, 4 years old? Come on, like what? Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't care if it was called new because they're just worried about what show is coming on next.
Right. Yeah. I think they're doing things a little better, but going back to crossovers, like there's potential there, and I think if they really wanted to, they have a lineup of new shows coming up. Victor and Valentino, Infinity Train. Infinity Train is another show. Yeah, that's another show where you could have a crossover because she goes through these different train doors every, I think, episode, or it looks like they're going to go through every episode in a different train door. That's what it seems like. That'd be a good formula. But
yeah, that could work for any crossover.
Yeah, and then you walk into Gumball's universe. You walk into Steven Universe's universe. You walk into, I think the only crossovers they've had recently are Uncle Grandpa and Steven Universe, Teen Titans Go and Powerpuff Girls, and the Ben 10 Generator Rex crossover.
Holy shit, yeah.
Those are the ones. And, comparing Kids Next Door, Grim Adventures to the Teen Titans Go, Powerpuff Girls crossover, what we saw was they wrote the Powerpuff Girls in a way like the old show. So they made them very serious in tone.
Yeah, I was watching that yesterday, actually.
Yeah, like you saw, like they had them serious in tone because I think this was before the launch of the actual series or just after the launch of the actual like reboot Powerpuff Girls. So the tone wasn't really consistent with the Powerpuff Girls reboot, but they had a serious toned Powerpuff Girls, like in the way that they would be in the 90s, alongside the Teen Titans Go, who are just jokingly bad with doing hero stuff, which we could revisit that, or we could talk about it now. I'm not
really talk about that now. I'm not in a rush. I ain't got shit to do.
Yeah. Yeah, so like with the Teen Titans Go Powerpuff Girls crossover, you look at the issue that I had was because Teen Titans Go is a comedic take on the Teen Titans. Whenever you have Powerpuff Girls, like, yeah, there's a serious situation going on here, like the Teen Titans would have said, yeah, there's a serious situation going on here. Instead, the Go franchise has them say, it doesn't matter because we're a bunch of fun kids.
Yeah, like
I'm like, Robin, you're supposed to be what the like this is against your character because your character is if there's heroes from another dimension literally saying we need some help, like
y'all would have jumped on that shit yesterday.
Yeah, but since it's not in the like it's so inconsistent with the characters. At first, Teen Titans Go was about, and I'm not trying to have a whole fucking Teen Titans Go was about who's is that you or me?
That's you.
Oh, let me. Who's?
Oh,
it's Mark. This is gonna be interesting. Let me see if I can do this. Hello,
Mark.
What's up?
This is just full of cameos, huh?
Oh, hey, I'm recording the Grim Adventures of KND with Dante at the moment.
Yeah, man.
What's up? No, it's cool. How's it going, man?
Yeah, man.
I'm like tweeting while I'm like talking.
Dante, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear him, but not that well.
Yeah, it's low volume on this end, so you're picking up, but you're a low volume.
Yeah.
Okay. Wrinkle and Crime.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely call back. Yeah.
Wrinkle and Crime.
Cool. All right. Thanks for joining Cartoon. The issue that I had with that crossover was, I think what would have been cool was a Teen Titans Go original crossover with the Powerpuff Girls original characters, because that would have been a lot more fun However, with the Teen Titans Go characters, they're so against their own characters, it just didn't mesh well because they didn't have their own their motivations weren't even on their own character. Like their characters were so against. Oh my god! The characters were so against one another. It was just odd, you know.
Yeah, they didn't really like try to work as a team.
Yeah,
I didn't expect a superhero team crossover to do.
Yeah, they just kept constantly like rivaling against each other. I thought, you know, it must have been fun for kids to see one of the most iconic superhero shows to merge with the Powerpuff Girls. That had to be fun. I'm sure it was.
But it didn't have the impact it could have had if it would have been just the original Powerpuff Girls. And y'all could have still used the Teen Titans Go characters. I don't care. But
yeah, or had them a little more serious instead of constantly being the comedy, almost Johnny Test level comedy. Like,
oh my god, that's practically what that show is.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's where I'll leave the Teen Titans Go. Powerpuff Girls. Did you have any other thoughts on that though? Because
no, it's just bad. Like one of the worst.
Yeah, because I don't want to start rambling on because then people will say, "Oh, he's rambling about Teen Titans Go again."
Oh yeah, I saw your rant video on Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, I promised that was my last rant until it ends or until the movie. So,
oh boy, I got some. Oh, hold on, I'm sorry, I have to put this out. So some celebrities have been announced for cameos in the movie.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. They're trying to save it before it dies. Yeah.
Fucking Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
Lord Yachty. Oh my god.
I was like, why? What is the goal here? What are they? What is the goal? I mean, cool, but what is the goal?
Well, that's Lord Yachty playing fucking
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern. One of my favorite Green Lanterns too. Right in the childhood.
Right in the childhood, yeah. This Teen Titans Go movie, it's happening. It's almost here. You know,
the apocalypse is upon us.
At least Incredibles 2 comes out before it, so you know.
Yes,
you get to see that before the return of Teen Titans. But all right, I think I'll end the episode here.
Yeah. We have another interruption.
Yes. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for watching Cartoon Chat episode. What is this? 18? For God's sakes, all my training of thought is gone.
It's shot.
I'm joined today with
Dante with the H. Also, Twilight Drago. Look out for my first video coming soon.
Yep.
Soon, hopefully.
Yep. Find him on YouTube, and of course, you can find me on Etymocracy. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.